everybody, welcome back to One Plate Gourmet, where yes, I am recording my audio from my closet today. Today we'll be making soup and we'll be using all of these ingredients here. Alright, let's get started. For this recipe we'll be using veggie broth. You could use chicken broth. It's really up to you. A quarter cup of rice, 2 or 3 bay leaf, celery, which that's the only thing I would ever use celery for. 1 cup of milk, whole or skimmed. Again, it's really up to you. 2 tablespoons of flour, all-purpose. 3 tablespoons of butter. 1 whole Idaho potato. Wash it first. 1 bell pepper, color of your choice. I prefer red to give it a better coloring to the soup. 1 carrot. And Cajun seasoning. You can also replace this with bay leaf seasoning if you want. 2 cloves garlic, 1 onion, and kale. Kale is a very important part of this recipe, and Sharmin really tried to convince me not to get it. Let's begin. First we'll start by peeling our potato with our vegetable peeler. Peeling the potato is a really important step. You don't want any of the skin on the potato. After it's done, begin to dice up your potato. You want to get them to very sizable pieces, not too small, but again, not too big. Using the same vegetable peeler, peel your carrot skin off and begin to dice them as well into sizable pieces. Then use your knife and just cut up your peppers, and you could do the same. You know, soup is a very underestimated dish. Like the amount of prep time that goes into prepping soup. Like if you're not working at a restaurant where you have someone already cutting up all the vegetables, this takes a very long time to prep. Everything is just cutting up the ingredients to sizable pieces. But for the sake of this video, I'll show you it step by step. So after you finish cutting up your kale, begin mincing your garlic, your 2 cloves of garlic, and cut up your onions. Careful not to cut your fingers. This next ingredient is more like a topping, so this is optional to you. You don't have to, it just makes it look better. Now you want to heat up 1 tablespoon of butter in your pot and add in your onions and sweat them off for about 2 minutes. This will serve about 2 to 4 people. You know, if you're cooking it alone, just save it next time for supper. After this is done, begin to add in your garlic. You want to let it cook for about 2 to 3 more minutes, or at least until your garlic and onions are caramelized golden brown. After which you can proceed to add your veggie broth or chicken broth if you decided to use that. After it's brought to a simmer, proceed to add your chopped up vegetables and your rice and potatoes and just give it a good mix. After you bring it to a simmer, add in your Cajun seasoning or bay leaf seasoning, whichever you chose, and add in your 2 to 3 bay leaves. Once more, give it a good mix and just let it boil. Once it's began to boil, just bring the heat back down and cover it up and let it sit for a couple of minutes. Or at least up until the potatoes and the rice are nice and soft. Just give it a good mix and taste it for yourself and see. It's a soup, so make sure your ingredients are nice and soft. Once that's done, just remove your bay leaves, because you definitely don't want to eat those, and just let it simmer. Next, we'll begin making our sauce. Now this is a thick cream sauce. I know some of you are wondering, why is he using flour to make soup? Well, just shut up and watch, you'll see. Carefully whisk in your flour with the butter. Don't worry, it's going to look a little bit crummy and you're going to look like you're not doing it right, but I assure you, you're doing it right. Next, add in your milk little by little. And as you do that, just whisk it in. Take your time. Add more milk and just keep whisking till you get a nice thick consistency. Now you can do this in a saucepan or you can do this in a little stir pot if you'd like. After you've gotten the right consistency, it should look a little bit like this. It should start to look like this anyway. And then once that's ready, just pour it into your soup and mix it all in. Your soup will change colors. Well, not really, but it'll look good, you know. Now it gives the soup a little more thickness to it. And after you're done, add in your kale that you chopped up. See, we didn't forget about that. That adds to the presentation. Plus, kale tastes good. Add some pepper, season of course to taste. And once it's ready, your soup is done. Just begin to plate it. Now, soup doesn't have much of a huge presentation factor, so it's not gonna look as good as you think it is. Might not look as good as mine either, but trust me, if you follow this recipe, it'll taste the same. Add your toppings, and there you have it. This actually took me like a really long time to make. The soup.
Really? Why?
I don't know. Soup is just like that.